The PC Engine, or TurboGrafx-16 in the West, was a game console made by Hudson Soft and sold by NEC Home Electronics in 1987 in Japan and 89 out west. The system was ahead of its time and was one of the first 16-bit consoles of its generation. Though what I found was technically it was an 8-bit system with a 16-bit graphics processor, but that's a story for another day. In 1988, NEC released a CD add-on for it called the CD-ROM Squared in Japan. When released in the US, it was renamed the TurboGrafx-CD. From what I could find, this made it the first home game console to use the CD format. While impressive for its time, it came with a steep cost of $400 and wound up being a flop in the West. It saw greater success and support in its home country, with around 300 games being released for it in Japan. Today, I'll be talking about one such game. Hey there, this is Megablade J, and this is my review of Private Eye Dol. Now, this is not to be confused with the Sega Saturn game of a similar name. That one looks a bit more adult-oriented. Private Eye Dol is a mystery/adventure game for the TurboGrafx-CD. It was made by the Japanese company HuneX and was published by NEC on August of 1995. From what I could find, HuneX was made as a collaboration between NEC Home Electronics and Human Entertainment to make more games for the TurboGrafx. In the long run, HuneX survived both its parent companies and still makes games to this day. They've made a number of games over the years, but seem to mostly work on romantic visual novels. Some of their work includes First Kiss Story on the PCFX, Hokago no Love Beat on PS2, as well as working on a number of the Simple 2000 series of budget games on various systems. The story of Private Eye Dol takes place in Japan during what seems to be the late 80s or early 90s. It follows the adventures of May Star, a lover of way too tight booty shorts and an up-and-coming actress/idol. One day, she's sent to an isolated old mansion in the woods to shoot a horror movie. As you can guess, things don't go as planned, and the entire crew is stranded in the house. Soon, tragedy strikes, which pushes May to use her detective skills, inherited from her father, to track down the perpetrator and bring them to justice. This leads her down a rabbit hole of lies, conspiracies, and murders across Japan, and helps her to solve a mystery about her own family. Got to admit, the story was pretty good. It had several plot twists and red herrings to keep you guessing, and avoided the whole "bwahaha, it was me all along" come out of nowhere thing that games like this tend to pull. If you examine and talk to enough people, you can piece together who done it before the reveal. And I gotta tell you, it is really satisfying knowing that you figured out who it was before the game. When I first started playing, I thought it was going to be your typical adventure game. You know, you get a still image and examine it till you find the one thing you need, move on to the next screen, then rinse and repeat. But it surprised me by switching to a top-down view very similar to that of a classic JRPG. You can explore your environment to talk with NPCs, collect items, and solve simple puzzles. The cast of characters were colorful and fun to interact with. One neat thing is that nearly every line of dialogue is voiced. It's all in Japanese, but it really helps bring their personalities to life.
コンピューターは進化する。はじめまして、私がオルカ。炊事も掃除もできないけれど、あなたの小さな友達です。コンピューターが進化した。形はね、館の探検に行くんだよ。
楽しそうね。でも気をつけた方がいいわ。レイが騒ぎ出してるから。
は？レイですって？いい加減なこと言ってカンナを怖がらせないでよ、エセ霊能力者さん。
From what I could tell, it seems that after every major event, the NPCs would actively move across the map to a new spot. That caught me off guard. I can't remember the last time I saw that in an old game. Seeing as how they had unique dialogue during said transition, it had me keeping my eyes out when they were on the move. This was also a surprisingly long game and contained multiple areas to explore and mysteries for our heroine to solve. Each chapter even added a new mechanic to help add some variety to the gameplay. I haven't played too many TurboGrafx games, but the visuals looked pretty good. The backgrounds and sprites were full of detail, character portraits were bright and colorful, and it had good, although limited, animations for important events. Thanks to the CD add-on, Private Eye Dol sports some pretty good tunes. Not to mention that dang near every line of dialogue is spoken, and you have a game with decent production values for its time. The only real negative I had was that there's not much replay value once you beat the game, and the final chapter can be a bit frustrating with the amount of backtracking it makes you do. There are, however, some cheat codes that let you pick chapters and unlock some neat extras. Some of them include a karaoke version of the main theme, a green room to listen to actor interviews, and a hidden art gallery that was more interactive than I thought it would be. There was a sequel anime series in Anime Freak FX for NEC's last home console, the PC FX. Anime Freak FX was a series of promotional discs that gave behind-the-scenes interviews and showed off upcoming anime at the time. There were 3 episodes released in the first 3 issues of Anime Freak FX. They were done by Studio Comet, the same studio that worked on Initial D and the Fatal Fury anime. The Private Eye Dol anime looks well animated and filled with a good mixture of action, comedy, and plenty of fan service. The episodes can be found online pretty easily, but from what I could tell, none seem to be translated into English yet. You know, just putting it out there in case, anyone's looking for a new project to work on, episodes are there. I'd like to see how the story continues. Just a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you want to own Private Eye Dol physically, you might have some issues. From what I can tell, this is a very obscure game, with it coming out near the end of the TurboGrafx life. It doesn't seem to appear online often. When it does, the price seems to randomly go from $30 to over $200. The game only was released in Japan, but there is an English translation online. A big thank you to Supper and their team for letting us in the West experience this hidden gem. Thank you. Overall, I really enjoyed Private Eye Dol. It had a fun story filled with many twists and turns, fun and memorable characters, and a pretty unique take on the adventure game genre. If you're a fan of adventure games, or just looking for a new title for your TurboGrafx, I'd say give this hidden gem a go. Thanks for watching. This has been Mega Blade J. If you enjoyed the review, please leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe to the channel for more playthroughs, reviews, and more of my poor attempts to entertain you all. See you all next mission. Bye.